We're going to Disneyland. We hear athletes say it all the time.
We're going to Disneyland!
But what does it mean? How did it start? What's up, everyone? Before we start, we just want to let you know about our awesome giveaway at the end of the month, where we'll be giving away $500 cash to 3 lucky subscribers. Consider this our way of giving back to you, the fans of TPS who helped to make this all possible. To be entered into the contest, all you need to do is subscribe and have your notifications on. And you've got to be commenting on our videos regularly throughout the month. So make sure you hit that bell along with liking and commenting on our videos. If you're already subscribed and have notifications on, then all you need to do is like and comment, and you'll be automatically entered into the random draw. Good luck. The sports world is littered with phrases that have, in one way or another, lived through generations of athletes and fans alike. You play to win the game. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. The list is countless. But interestingly, perhaps the most famous widespread quote in sports actually originated as an advertisement, and now is uttered after championships of all sports and ranks. Everything from local little leagues to the grandest stage in North American sports, the Super Bowl. And of course, I'm talking about the age-old, I'm going to Disney World.
Going to Disney World!
You don't even necessarily have to be a huge football fan to know the cultural significance of this slogan. We hear athletes say it all the time, but what does it mean? And how did it start? Let's take a dive back into Super Bowl's past and some of the key players on the field and behind the scenes that have turned a guerrilla advertising campaign into a national pastime. The origin of a Super Bowl champion exclaiming, "I'm going to Disney World" or "I'm going to Disneyland" has been undeniably linked to the Super Bowl for decades now. Which makes sense, because, well, it's where it all started. It's commonly accepted as fact that former NFL quarterback Phil Simms was the first Super Bowl champion to utter the phrase all the way back in 1987, when his New York Giants upended the Denver Broncos 39-20 in Super Bowl 21.
Phil Simms, you just won the Super Bowl. What are you doing next?
I'm going to go to Disney World!
The idea for the slogan itself can be credited to Jane Eisner, the wife of former Disney CEO Michael Eisner. Eisner had a stellar marketing background as president and CEO of Paramount Pictures before becoming chairman and CEO of Walt Disney Company from 1984 until 2005, and he's credited with launching what people describe as the Disney Renaissance. In 2015, he decided to revisit the story behind the inception of one of the world's most famous advertisements while speaking with Sports Illustrated. In January 1987, we were launching Disneyland's Star Tours, an attraction based on Star Wars, Eisner started. After the ribbon-cutting ceremony, my wife Jane and I had dinner with George Lucas as well as Dick Rutan and Gina Yeager, who had just become the first people to fly around the world without stopping. It was late and the conversation hit a lull as we waited for our food. So I asked Dick and Gina, well, now that you've accomplished the pinnacle of your aspirations, what could you possibly do next? Rutan responded without hesitation, "I'm going to Disneyland." And of course I go, wow, that's cool. You made the right choice. But my wife interjects, you know, that's a good slogan. Knowing Eisner's public persona and general character, it's not entirely surprising that he tried to slide himself a little bit of credit there, but I digress. Once the Broncos and Giants had cleared their respective paths to the Super Bowl, Eisner decided it was time to make his move and try to put this slogan on the map. AKA, it was time to put his wife's marketing genius to work. Eisner had his representatives approach the team's two quarterbacks, Phil Simms and John Elway, as the quarterback in many ways is the face of his respective organization, and he made the two gentlemen identical offers. $75,000 for the winner to say, "I'm going to Disney World" and "I'm going to Disneyland" to a Disney camera as they ran off the field after the game.
Well, I was the first one to say, "I'm going to Disney World." When the game was over, they turned the camera to me and I smiled and said, "I'm going to Disney World."
Not only would it potentially be great press in the moment, but Disney could then reuse the film for a commercial down the road. One interesting tidbit to note is that the commercial would vary between the Disney World and Disneyland iterations, depending on where it aired geographically. So that organic moment that you see on live TV just might be different from the one spliced into the Disney ad.
What are you going to do next?
What are you going to do next? I'm going to Disneyland!
And as expected, almost immediately after Simms did it, it caught on like wildfire. Developing athletes around the world started to spit out the line after the smallest of victories.
Going to Disneyland!
I'm going to Disney World!
We're going to Disney World!
We're going to Disney World! And we're going to Disneyland too!
it inadvertently made Phil Simms one of the key faces of the brand. The perks extended beyond the 75 grand, a number which skyrocketed over the years, as I'm sure you can imagine. As an added bonus for the new Disney spokesperson, particularly if they had families with young kids, there was an ensuing trip to one of Disney's parks that generally followed the advertisement, where the spokesperson gets to take part in a parade in the team's honor. Which is why we often see hilarious photographs come out shortly after a team wins a title, which shows a superstar athlete parading around in front of Disney princesses and castles. It's a nice little bonus after reaching the pinnacle of achievement in your sport.
The Seattle Seahawks just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next? I'm going to Disney World!
An all-expenses-paid family vacation to one of the most popular theme parks in the world. Just added on to the embarrassment of riches that goes along with being a superstar athlete.
Drew Brees, you and the New Orleans Saints are celebrating your first Super Bowl win. What are you going to do next? I'm going to Disney World!
Interestingly, Phil Simms, who again was the original voice of Disney in the Super Bowl, didn't even want to be a part of the advertisement. He explained to Sports Illustrated. And while I don't know that I would necessarily be the first one to try and turn down $75,000 for 5 seconds of work, I do sort of understand his logic. A few days before the game, my agent calls me up and explains the deal, Simms told SI. I said, "No, absolutely not. I want no part of that." To agree to something like this before the game was even played? That just seemed like a distraction I didn't want. Considering Simms had never won a Super Bowl before, I respect the fact that he essentially put his superstition and focus ahead of a quick payday. That just goes to show how long ago it was that this concept first came about. Nowadays, players are ready to do just about anything for a paycheck. Distractions be damned. Luckily for Simms, as his team did go on to win the game, he had already caved to his agent, who coerced him into taking the deal. A deal that I must reiterate was pretty sweet. All he had to do was say 2 sentences on camera and it was $75,000 in his pocket? Say no more. The tradition has carried on ever since, with just a couple of exceptions throughout the years. Notably, Super Bowl 50, when one of the league's biggest stars, Peyton Manning, didn't take the deal.
What are you going to do next?
I'm going to drink a lot of Budweiser tonight.
He did, however, end up going to Disneyland afterwards anyways. So, really, no harm, no foul as far as Disney's concerned, I would imagine. It has become such a long-standing storied tradition in sports, and really American culture. There's no denying that the "I'm going to Disney World" phenomenon has really taken on a life of its own. Even American Idol winners like David Cook and Chris Allen.
David Cook, you've just become the newest American Idol. What are you going to do next? I'm going to Disney World!
Any individual athlete, performer, or otherwise who has a large enough following and audience at this point has the possibility of being selected for this honor. And because it has spanned such a long time, we've seen some cool stories come out about it. Like when Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs superstar quarterback, won his first Super Bowl championship. Old tweets he had made as a teenager started to resurface. Not for nothing, but that is a pretty awesome full circle moment to witness as a sports fan.
Patrick Mahomes, you and the Kansas City Chiefs just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next?
I'm going to Disney World.
Mahomes' iteration was particularly cool because it was embedded into the broadcast post-game show, and the production team was able to include special guest appearances from the likes of Mickey and Minnie Mouse, and a 10-year-old Make-A-Wish recipient, Nathaniel from Austin, Texas. To sweeten an already awesome gesture, Nathaniel joined Mahomes for the Disney World Parade, and Disney kicked in a smooth $1 million donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation in Mahomes' honor, as well as 17 other free passes for Make-A-Wish Foundation kids. Honestly, talk about a win-win. It'll be great to see if the two powerful organizations can keep evolving this timeless tradition for years and championships to come.
It's fun to look back and know I was the first one to do it and still see to this day, a lot of years later, they're still doing it.
But hey, what's been your favorite "I'm going to Disneyland" moment? Join us in the comments section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.